Good morning, fish keepers. Hope we're all well. Having some technical difficulties. We're not. Yeah. Oh no, horrible noises. What's going on? Real technical difficulties. So we are live streaming on Instagram for the first time, and that is what's causing some technical issues because it's reflecting sounds everywhere, and I don't know how to mute it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hopefully, John doesn't have to say too much to me, otherwise, it's not going to work very well. Anyway, we've made it to Friday. Hooray, hooray. We've also made it to the end of the year. Let's celebrate that. And we've also made it to stone fruit season, so that is a happy time as well. This is going to be far from ideal. The echo is coming through from Instagram on to everything else. I might have to stop the Instagram. How do I turn the volume down? There's a little volume arrow up the top, but it's not letting me do anything. Oh, this is really average. Have you got any advice, John? Not that I can just talk.
No. With Instagram being new.
Okay, so I think, unfortunately, we are going to have to close the Instagram feed, and hopefully that stops all the echoing, and we'll try again another time. So if you're watching on Instagram, I apologize. I'm going to close the feed now, and we will try again another time. Okay, so now I should be able to unmute. And I can hear John again.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Well, that's real disappointing. I was all excited that we could live stream on Instagram, but I need to obviously work out some sort of technical issues and make it so I can't hear what's going on Instagram at the same time. Equally, I don't think it connected Instagram into the chat here, which was a bit of a shame as well, because I had to have the other window open, I'm assuming, and it you had to have the other window open. It wasn't putting anything up on through here, but anyway, we'll try it again another day. How's everyone going? Everyone's happy? Hey, look, there's two Johns.
No, this one.
Yeah, cool. All right. So, end of the year. Everyone had a good Christmas, I hope. I'm kind of flying pretty empty today. There's other notes from other stuff, but there's only 2 lines of stuff that I've written for today's live stream. And then just to remind everybody that the Finatics Friday coffee date will be changing its time as of next week. We will be starting at 8 a.m. and not 9 a.m. We'll have the window open from 8 to 11. Yeah, fire away.
Oh, it's a horrible echo. Hold on. Right, that sounds better. So we're another hour forward.
Yes, we're only an hour forward, so we'll leave the window open from 8 to 11 instead of 9 to 11. Doesn't necessarily mean we will live stream for 3 hours. But it does allow us to, when we have guests on, to have a really decent conversation. The amount of times that we've cut ourselves short after 2 hours is just not funny, so we could continue talking for ages. So couldn't alter the opening hours of the shop, make it open an extra hour later, so we've just decided to move everything an hour forward. So I hope that helps for everybody, or I hope that makes a difference and it doesn't affect too many people. It's probably the best way. And if it does affect you, I hope it affects you in a positive way. So yeah,
we'll soon find out.
Yep. And the other thing is that the shop hours are not changing, but just to remind everybody, the physical retail shop is closed until Wednesday the 3rd. So yeah, online store is still going, and we're also having a Boxing Day sale is happening right at this moment. It's finishing today. So 25% off store-wide, excluding live fish. Couriers are running as per normal today. We'll be closed Monday, Tuesday, back running again on Wednesday. So get amongst that while you can. And there was something else that I've just totally forgotten. No, there was something relevant to shop hours, courier running. Oh no, it's just telling everybody we had our Boxing Day sale going. It's all right. Ignore me.
So Christmas, anyway, how did your Christmas go, Cam?
It went. I'm sporting a fairly nasty foot injury from backyard cricket. I have a horrible feeling it might be a season-ending Saturday afternoon cricket injury, which I'm not really enjoying. So,
Was that playing backyard cricket with a skin flow?
No. I'm a teetotaler. I don't drink. But I should have learned by now that uneven surfaces and flip-flops are not the best things to run in.
No, they're not.
Yeah. I felt it straight away, and I was like, oh, this isn't good, and it hasn't gotten any better. It's gotten worse. It's great in the morning because I haven't had any pressure on it overnight, but as soon as I start walking on it, doing any work on it, it's quite excruciating. It hurts significantly to get in and out of the car, which isn't much fun. It's not a good time.
Why do we do these silly things?
I love cricket. I was always in for it. It gets quite competitive, and I was down for it. So, yeah.
Happy days.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty sore. We'll just add that to the list of injuries that I'm currently wearing. A couple of muscles on both sides of the hips gone, the shoulders gone, knees gone. So that's okay, and it's all cricket related. So that makes it even better.
Yeah. So when are you next playing?
Hopefully next Saturday. We'll see how we go. We'll see how we go with you. Good morning, Brian, Tara, Nix, Thomas. How do you hurt yourself playing cricket? By running and being in flip-flops and clearly well overweight. Good morning, Rochelle. I think that's everybody. Renee. I think that's everybody. Awesome. Cool. Test tubes and backyard cricket isn't a good combo for me. Yeah, well, I haven't broken a test tube for a while. Good morning, Aaron. How are you? I can give everybody a wee update on the clown loach tank. There has been some developments on that. So the glass that I needed for the overflow arrived on last Thursday. So that was all drilled, ready to go. I have since then drilled the end of the tank to fit the bulkheads through it. So that's been done. Good morning, Jamie. How are you doing? And the other day, I manufactured an absolute disgusting, horrible overflow box. So I'll tidy that up. I can't water test it for at least another week because the place I'm getting my plumbing parts from is closed. So as soon as I get the plumbing parts available, I'll water test it. Fingers crossed it holds water. And fingers crossed we can move along. So that's where that's at. It's progressed a little bit over the last week, so I'm happy with that. Good times. And Taryn, I haven't released this today's TikTok. We'll do it after we get done with this. Good morning, Rebecca. And Aaron is telling me I need to get myself a runner or just smash sixes. A, runners are illegal. B, I can't hit the ball. C, I bowl. And D, my foot injury is on my landing foot, so it makes it even worse. But that's okay. Keep it PG, please, Thomas. So that's the update on the clown loach tank. So that's a happy, good time. The 4-bay monstrosity tank is holding water. It's not leaking between the bays, the section, whatever it's called, which is why I sealed it up. The air filters, the sponge filters were put in there yesterday. They're already wet and semi-cycled. Squeezed a bit of filter gunk into all of them from the aquariums the fish were coming from, and just to really destroy everybody in whatever camp they're in, I also threw some stability in the tanks as well. So a little bit from camp 1, a little bit from camp 2. And this morning we chucked all the mollies in there as well. So that has begun moving along quite nicely as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So.
Oh, how long do you think it's going to be until you see clownfish in the clownfish tank?
Stop putting pressure on me. Ideally, 3 months. We'll say.
Okay.
Yeah. So from here, as long as the overflow is holding water, then we've obviously got to build the clown loach tank. So I've got everything I need for that here, except for probably a few more tubes of silicon. So once that's there, we can put it all together. I then need to drill a hole in the wall for all the pipes and stuff. They've got to buy the plumbing. Then drill a hole in the wall, and on the other side of the wall, there is a 5 or a 6 foot tank sitting there at the moment. So I have to move that. I'm thinking about using that for the sump itself, but I have a feeling it might be leaking water. So I need to just sort of double check on that one if it's leaking water or not. If it's leaking, I'll have to reseal that a little bit, get that sorted. If it's not leaking, we will begin setting up a sump for that, trying to work it out the way that we want to work it out, and we'll go from there. So, yeah, that's where we're at with that at the moment. So I'm hoping within the next 3 months we might have that going. I've got all the wood that I want to use for it. It's all pre-soaking at the moment. What else do we need? I haven't got any substrate for it yet. I haven't quite worked out what substrate I'm going to use, but that's getting pretty close. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. So fingers crossed, 3 months. We've got all the media that I want. Need to buy a UV filter for it. I've got the pump for it. So we're getting pretty close, if that makes sense.
So, well, the anticipation is building, and it's building, building.
I can feel the pressure on every side from everybody. So the clown loaches want to be in a bigger tank. I mean, they're in a fairly large tank at the moment anyway, but they want to be in a bigger tank. So yeah,
fantastic. Just want to point out that it's blown up in the chat. I don't know if you've seen that, Cam, but Rico Stan has sent a bunch of people our way, so we're just the viewings just went right up. And
certainly is.
Do you know who Rico Stan is?
Not off the top of my head, but hello. So, next, I can't wait for the clown loach tank to be a thing. My favorite nanos. Can't wait for clown loach to be a thing. My favorite non-nano species. So looking forward to seeing them kept in a proper sized tank. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to them being put in a big display tank. Like I said, they're currently in a fairly large tank at the moment. So I'm okay with the way that they're sitting at the moment, but I'm really looking forward to them being in the big 7 foot or 8 foot tank or whatever it is. And yeah, that's the dream, that's the goal. So fingers crossed in the next few months we're away laughing. So most of what I need is here, still a few bits and pieces. Lighting is another thing that I haven't looked at yet. So yeah. And Thomas asked when the fluval UVCs are going to be here. I'm not sure. I will note that down, and I will ask my rep next time I see him for you. So yeah. What about you, John? Have you got any projects happening or going on at the moment?
Well, as you know, my office has been sadly taken away from me temporarily.
Yeah.
So right now the fish tank is still there. I've managed to keep it there. And it's just kind of sitting there feeling sorry for itself. So it's nothing much happening with the tank. I have set up a new gecko enclosure upstairs in my daughter's room, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so we've got a leopard gecko at the moment. We're just kind of venturing into that side of the hobby for the first time, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I've used a lot of rock that I had from an old aquascape, which is quite handy, and some old wood as well. So kind of the dream alive. But yeah, I think in the new year I do want to have a new overhaul of the tank that I've got, and kind of focus on one specific species, but I don't know what it's going to be yet. I'm remaining open-minded.
Cool, very cool. Rebecca's just asked about Rapashi not being stocked in Australia and is it affecting New Zealand. And just quickly, if it's really noisy, let me know. Again, I've got the window open because it's getting really hot and muggy here and it's raining. So if everyone can hear the noise, let me know and I'll shut my window. Yes, so Rapashi is not being stocked in Australia. Is it not affecting New Zealand? To my knowledge, there is not being any effect or impact on Rapashi in New Zealand, which is fantastic because I thoroughly love Rapashi. So yeah, at this stage, no, there is no issues with it to my knowledge, and I don't know if, or don't believe there is going to be any issues coming up with it. Other question I've got for the floor, once we stock this clown loach tank, what should we be adding with it for tank mates? I was pretty keen to have nothing in the tank and just have them, but it might seem a little bit open just having them by themselves. So what sort of fish should we look at stocking with it?
What about some nice big catfish?
Catfish?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we're still looking bottom stuff, I wouldn't mind trying to fill the top side of it.
Right, okay.
I'm going to do that. Equally, because I'm me, I'd like to have it as Southeast Asian or as close to clown loach natural tank mates as possible.
Okay.
Cool. And I've had a couple people say that they can hear it, so I'm going to go shut my window. I'm very sorry. Maxine's told me I need to die in the heat. Well, maybe. Right, hold on. I'll just close.
Yeah, no bother. So yeah.
Take that pain.
We have Googled a couple of times to try and find out what kind of fish go with clown loach, but it doesn't really kick up much information, does it? For some weird
no, not really.
reason.
Yeah, tiger barbs are the natural one to go with. I don't really want to go with tiger barbs. No. The other option that comes up quite regularly is pearl gouramis. Again, I don't want to go with them because I've already got a display with pearl gouramis in it.
Mm-hmm.
So those two are kind of crossed out. Wouldn't be opposed to maybe another sort of barb if the saying sort of fits in that section, or maybe some Rasboras as a shoaling fish up the top was also an option.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm still a bit blank on what it is that I can put with them. As long as they are they're the star of the show, that's what I kind of really want them to be.
Yeah. So
yeah, I've got a real soft spot for purple goldhead Rasboras. Yeah, silver dollars aren't from Asia though. So all these great options for fish, but they're not from like the region that I'm trying to kind of work through. Yeah. So that's where the issue is.
I'm sure we'll come up with something.
I'm sure I will as well. Yeah, Oscars aren't really fitting the vibe either, being American. So this is me just being really picky on what I want to have in the tank. But yeah. Roseline sharks aren't really here. Are we doing a biotype? We are doing a very similar to a biotype, Cameron. Possibly some cryptocrines, maybe some Java ferns, and they're not boring. You are boring. Yeah, bigger gouramis might be an option, Rochelle. The pearl gouramis keep coming up quite regularly, so yeah, tank won't be big enough for a giant gourami. Otherwise, probably would have been in the equation.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's where that's at. We can do a planted tank update as well. If you haven't watched the TikTok video from yesterday, put the glow light Danios in there last week, and I've seen some fry yesterday. So I thought that was kind of cool. So there's 2 or 3 fry in the glow light Danio in that planted tank in the shop. So I'm pretty excited about that. Also had some pygmy corridors spawn the other day. So they were sitting in the quarantine setup, ready to go into the shop. And I hooked them out, and I was looking in the container, and there's a whole bunch of eggs. Says, "Oh, there's some fry." There's some eggs. So you went in the tank, and it was covered in eggs. So took the adults out, put them through the shop, and yeah, I've left the fry in that tank. So there's a decent chunk of pygmy corridors fry coming through, which is nice. Not from the group that I've kept the breed from, but yeah, we'll take it anyway. Do giant gouramis have as much personality as Oscars? I don't think I would say they have as much personality as Oscars, but they do have plenty of personality. The giant pink gouramis, I think, are really cool. I think they definitely show up quite a lot of personality in there, but not quite as much as Oscars, in my opinion and my experience with them. And have I got vinegar eels for feeding baby eels? I do indeed have vinegar eels ready to rock and roll. Vinegar eels, micro worms, grindle worms, all sort of ready to go for different stages of fry breeding. And if we're talking about the CPD babies, I haven't had them spawn since I moved them from one tank to another. So they were spawning nearly daily in the quarantine tank that I had them sitting in. As soon as I moved them into the smaller tank, they haven't really done anything. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but they'll get comfortable again, and away they go. What have we got here? Someone being mean to me about my cricket injury.
So you've got a new fish coming out to the sales floor pretty soon as well, haven't you? That you've never stocked before. You sent me the details for the profile, which I'll be doing later on tonight or today.
Oh no. So not quite. I'm doing a lot of stuff at the back end of the website.
Okay.
Which is just going through tagging stuff and just cleaning up the photos and that kind of stuff.
Oh right, okay.
And I just noticed that we have stocked them before. I think it was African butterfly cichlid from memory. So we have stocked them before. I haven't stocked them for a little while, but I just wanted the profile of that revisited and rehashed and just tidied up a little bit. So yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. I'm in trouble, Max. He's calling me my proper name. Yes, we got here. Stupid typos. If you're planning on changing it, I'd like to blue fish with 3 crosses on it. Cool. Yeah, and Max is correct. The list of fish that we can hear is much smaller than most people, most places. And saying that, I think we still get a pretty decent amount of fish available. But it depends on what sort of things you're looking for. I think we lack a little bit on proper nano species and proper monsters, but I'm not overly. I think it's good that we lack on some of the bigger monster fish and stuff like that, because I think they wouldn't be housed correctly. What about Danios? Danios of the clown lunch tank. Is there a species that's big enough to fit me?
You get giant Danios. Yeah,
giant Danios could be an option.
Yeah, they'd be really cool actually, because they go at a decent size. You get enough of them in there and they'll put on a good display.
Yeah, I will write that down as a potential option. It's great thinking. Yeah, coolie loaches would be cool.
Yeah.
But that continues to keep everything down towards the bottom of the tank. We're trying to fill the mid sides of it. So for those that are new here,
to hide a lot as well.
Yeah. For those that are new here, we're building a 7 or 8 foot tank, 2.5 meters, specifically just for clown loaches. Clearly got the stocking of the clown loaches under control, but trying to fit the middle option. That's the problem, or the thing that we're trying to work through at the moment, and trying to keep it as regional specific as possible. So somewhere in that sort of, it's really hard to do a proper biotype here for what we are limited to. But something from the sort of Asia type region will be acceptable. Plant wise, I'm looking at probably going along the lines of cryptocrines and Java ferns, probably. But yeah, we'll see how we go from there.
What kind of rocks are you going with again?
Haven't got that far yet, but I'm thinking if I can find some rounder river type style rocks is what I'll
Scottish
play around
river
with.
stones.
Is that
Best
what
in
they're
the game. Yeah.
Are you gonna
round giant pebbles?
Are you gonna send me a pallet full of them so I can pick and choose what I want?
Maybe. It'd be cheaper bringing them over myself.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Giant danios are on the list. Definitely have a wee look into them as an option. Yep, pearl danios are another nice one. I quite like them. I've got a wee little group that I'm growing out for breeding at the moment in my danio holding tank. Phenomenal blue coloration on them. Absolutely gorgeous. I'll actually write that down as well. I've been a sucker for pearl danios for quite a long time now. I think they're a really nice and criminally underrated fish.
Mm. Yeah. They are, once they colour up nice.
Yeah. Yeah, once they're a bit hard, again, in shop, they're a little bit difficult to sell because they're normally a little silver and a bit grey tinted looking, if that makes sense. But yeah, once they're in full bloom, they are very nice looking fish for sure. 6 months into the journey and you're home. Yeah. Turtle isn't an option. Melissa, my previous times keeping turtles with fish didn't end up very well for the fish. So I don't really want to replicate that again.
Peacock cichlids are African, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not Asian.
Well, it's funny you say archerfish. It's cool that you saw some in the local fish shop the other day. I think, I can't confirm because I haven't built it yet, but I think I might have drilled my holes a little bit too low in the end of the tank, which I think is potentially going to leave way more of a gap than what I originally wanted. So there might be room for that sort of style of fish to go on top. I don't know as far as archerfish, whether they're Asian or African or what have you, because I haven't looked into them, but there is possible room for something along those lines. Equally, if we don't get a fish that jumps too much, there is room for possibly having it completely open topped with the wood cascading out of it and that type of vibe as well. So we'll just see how it goes when it's all put together and the overflow box is attached and where the water level is going to sit. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So archerfish potentially could be an option. Good morning, Helen. I hope you're well. Rochelle said you might get held up in customs.
Yeah, I know. I think I would get held up in customs for bringing anything like that over for sure. I think if we were going to do that, it would be pretty cool to put a pallet together, though, wouldn't it?
It would be, yeah.
Yeah.
Nick has said mascara barbs. I don't know if I've ever seen them before. I will absolutely have a wee look into the mascara barbs and equally paradise fish. I didn't really think of that. How would they handle the potential warmer temperatures with the requirements of the loaches? Yep. If we do have wood cascading out the top, I'll attach some sort of vine or plant to it, something along those lines. Cool. Paradise fish are fine in warmer temperatures. Paradise fish are on the wee list for me to look up. Paradise fish.
What about tiger darios?
Tiger danios?
Yeah. Dario, the baddest or Darios.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd be a little worried that the big loaches might give them a wee run, wouldn't they?
I'm forgetting the big loaches are going to get big.
Yeah. Polo sharks. Morning, John. Open top tank, is condensation a problem? Yeah, it probably will be. a issue. It is sitting here in the office. It's currently pretty warm and condensated and muggy already anyway, because I've got another tank sitting beside me, and the hatchery's there and the door's always open and stuff like that. So although I believe it will be an issue, I don't think it will add too much more of an issue, if that makes sense.
What about iridescent sharks? Do you get them?
Iridescent sharks? I don't believe so, no.
Pangasius sharks sometimes get called. No?
Don't believe so.
Yeah.
Someone suggested a Asian arowana. I've got a feeling that the tank itself will be too small for an Asian arowana. Length-wise, probably okay. Width-wise, maybe not quite wide enough, in my thoughts. Would also mean that I have to put lids on it the whole time as well. So, and I think an Asian arowana would probably take away from the clown loach tank and become the Asian arowana tank with clown loaches underneath it. And I want it to be clown loach based.
The clown loach need to be the main thing.
Yeah. Tinfoil barbs. I did look at. I got my pen stuck in my bed. I did look at tinfoil barbs. Thought that could be an option, but I'm not too sure if they'd be the right option.
Silver sharks.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of silver sharks.
Nice in a shoal.
Yeah, they would be, and there should be plenty of room for them there. So, yeah, I'm just never been a massive fan of silver sharks.
Yeah.
I think it's possibly one of those things because they get neglected more than looked after sort of scenario.
Yeah. Emperor tetras.
What, sorry?
Emperor tetras.
Are they not Amazonian fish?
Yes.
Yeah. Tiger barbs would be fine. I'm just not wanting to go with tiger barbs. Not a massive fan of them. Good morning. Good evening, James. I have a 3-foot-long cigar shark you can take. You can keep your cigar shark, but thank you, Maxie.
Yeah. That was the one fish that I made a silly mistake on, is taking 2 cigar sharks for my 3-foot tank.
Yeah.
This was before the internet, I will say. I took them because they had grown out of somebody's smaller tank, and I took them on and realised quickly that they were huge.
Okay, we've got. I don't know. You know who I am. How big is the tank we're talking about? So it's 2.5 meters long by 600 by 600, or maybe it's 2.5 meters by 700 by 600. But we're kind of in that realm, length by width to play with. Pearl gouramis of other kinds, yeah. Pearl gouramis would definitely, but like I said, I've already got the pearl gouramis in the shop, so I don't want to double up with them. Silver sharks probably have personality in a shoal or a shoal of red-tailed black. The silver sharks might be a good option in the sense of to show people how big they get. Very similar to how big clown loaches get in the big tanks. So there's another option. Not one I really want to go down, but I'll put it on my wee list of things to have a read into. But it's pretty unlikely that it'll make the cut.
Yeah, Congo tetras, they're African, aren't they? So
yeah. And that might be the case no matter what you put in there. Every clown loach I've ever had has hidden until the lights go out. Well, funny you say that. So the loaches that we've got at the moment that are going to go into it, they're out and about all day, every day, which is kind of cool. They're definitely lurking around, but they're definitely visible at pretty much every point in the day, which is nice. So the plan will be kind of keep it secure but open, if that makes sense. So plenty of room for them to dart away, but also enough room for them to feel open enough and secure enough to kind of come out and hang it about. So that's where we're at with that. Oh, she's still calling me Cameron. I'm in lots of trouble. The caption's back on. Melon bulbs. I'll write down melon bulbs. I think from memory they might be available at the wholesaler at the moment too. Ghost knife, cigar sharks. Litre-wise, I think it was 650 or 700 litres or something like that. It's not ginormous literage, but it's got a decent sized footprint, which is nice to play around with. Put that thing up. Here we go. Yeah, so the literage is not that big, but it's definitely got a good sized footprint. If we run with the sump that I'm looking at potentially using for it, it'll probably push it closer to 1,300 litres total volume. So it should be nice and stable at those sort of numbers as well, which is nice. It's the length and the width that I think is quite ample for most things. I don't have any common plecos handy. If we're talking show people how big they get, do you have a common pleco? No, I don't have common plecos. Also, have never stocked them and don't plan on stocking them for that reason as well. They're on the list of fish that I choose not to carry because I think they get neglected too often. People mistreat them or get misinformation when they're buying them. There's little, 50 mil, 60 mil fish, and all of a sudden they get 5 million meters long. So it's not one that we carry. Not a fan of sharks. The scarabubs have come up a couple of times. I will definitely have a wee look at that. No. Well, actually, one of them I found 6 months ago, maybe now. I found a really big one on the ground when I came into work one morning. I chucked it back in the tank. It was still alive, but it's never been the same since. It spirals a lot, it spins a lot, it spends way more time on its side than it ever has before. Still eats, it still frolics, but it's definitely not quite there. It's spent far too long on the ground compared to in the water at that moment. So that's unfortunate for it, but it is what it is. I didn't consider glass catfish. I never once considered glass catfish. If I was going to get them, I definitely wouldn't get 5,000 of them. How do you think they would interact with the clown loaches, being that the clown loaches are quite fast and frighty? I would wonder if that might cause a bit of issues for the glass cats potentially. Yeah. Yep, they're definitely legal here. They're in lots of tanks. They're definitely around. I don't know. I don't think they have any wild populations in the natural waterways. I hope they don't. But in saying that, there is potential that they do have some wild holdings up north where it's a lot warmer than what we are here. But they're definitely illegal here. I'm glad that everyone's enjoying the captions. I clearly don't have the captions, but that's okay.
Apparently, when we say that we want to smoke some arowana, it comes up saying something else.
Good times. Good times. Melon barbs look awesome. Come in a couple of variants depending on location, from orange, red to purple hued and striped. No stripes, cool. I do have that written on my list, so we will have a wee look at that later on. And I'm not going to keep a common pleco anywhere. I'm sorry, Cameron. Just is what it is.
A big old pleco. Do you get scat?
They're brackish, aren't they?
Kinda, yeah.
I think so, but I don't think they come in very often. I don't have any clown loaches. My big yo-yo likes to sleep upside down like clown loaches do. It's most, I totally understand. I am also quite a fan of yo-yo loaches. I think they're probably my third favorite loach behind dwarf chains and clowns. Not sure if they're willing to interact. Got to go now. Have fun next. Cam thinks there might be a wild population in Tauranga. He doesn't know if that's legit. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of any wild populations of them in New Zealand. I wouldn't be surprised if there was, but I don't think I've ever heard of them being around. I hope they're not, but again, I wouldn't be surprised. Cool. All right, so that's the end of what I've got. Cool. So maybe that's enough chit chat about the clown lunch tank that I've been building for like the last year and still haven't finished it. We'll get
the anticipation's building on it, Cam.
Yeah, I know. We're getting there. Slowly but surely, just one thing at a time.
Yeah.
On other tank build notes that I'm thinking about, the Rio 240 should be in the shop sometime in the next few days once I bring the Oscar and the Jag in.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do with it. Dwarf and Boona, it's easy to talk about it and build it. Sure is. And if you've watched my disaster building a aquarium video I did the other day on either YouTube or TikTok, you will see that I'm not very good at building stuff. DIY is not in my DNA. Yeah, so the 240, I'm thinking maybe Dwarf and Boona, potentially, or possibly a Cryptocoroni tank with lots of proper nanofish through it. I'm not entirely sure where we're going with it, but
Tiger Dario.
What's that, sorry?
Tiger Dario, if you're going for cryptos.
Yeah. It worked well with him. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to put it in beside, just tucked in behind the till between the walkway of the door and into the back room here. So I know where it's going to go. I just haven't quite worked out exactly what I'm going to do with it yet. I don't have an Boona tank in the shop at all. I've only got that Dwarf tank and Ekin tanks, so that might be an option. But equally, I like planted aquariums and I like smaller fish and stuff like that. So, yeah. Shell asked earlier, honey grammies, how cool are they? How many in a 150? I think they're quite cool. I quite like them. I think they're a very nice fish. I personally prefer the standard honey gouramis over the red honey gouramis or the gold type honey gouramis. I like that darker patch that goes to the front of them. I think it really magnifies like the orange on the top of it, if that makes sense. I think that's
it does, doesn't it? It contrasts it really well. Yeah,
it really does. 150 litre tank, really heavily planted. Probably 4 or 5, I would suspect. Just bear in mind that male gouramis, although the honey gouramis are quite placid, can get a little bit towy from time to time. I've got a pair in a 60 litre tank at the moment. I've had them in one tank in a 60 litre, and they, the male bit the female pretty quickly, but now I've got them in a second tank, and it's been fine. Lightly planted, but still planted. So, yeah. Might depend if you get a really dominant, aggressive male or if everything's nice and cruisy. In the shop, we keep them in 5 or 6 at a time, with not too much dramas, but bearing in mind they aren't fully mature. They're not of breeding maturity and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, that dark purpley black down the front is gorgeous. So, like, I really think that's a lovely contrasting on the honey gouramis. It's beautiful. I'd really have fun considering a custom high quality aquarium stand with space management. Yeah, DIY is not my thing. If you customize yourself a nice quality stand and do some videos, I'll be sure to watch it, but I'm definitely not going to be one to build an aquarium stand. I do enjoy watching people actually be really good at building stuff of all descriptions, and I know cable management and cord management is a massive thing in salt water, but it doesn't seem to be quite a thing in fresh water. But
although what I will say is the Oasis cabinets seem to be going down that path. They have the rollout tray at the bottom for your canister filter, so you pull that out, and it's easy to access that. So I can see them being one of the first ones to bring in cable management and everything as well. So
yeah, they're super cool. We don't unfortunately get them here in New Zealand, the stands, but man, I think they're really cool.
Yeah, I've not got one either, but yeah, I'm envious of the people that do.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea, that for sure. Yeah. Maxi is talking about all the good times that we have when it comes to what we're allowed in the country and not in the country at the moment. So that's a good time. It's a bit of a ball of worms, that, but that's okay. Rochelle, trying at the moment to decide normal, gold, or red honey grammages. I'm wanting one that's got a pop of colour. So she's quietly watching the tank. All of a sudden, there's colour just floating about. That's fair. The reds have a nice colour, but I still think the normals for me, they're the money Grammy for me, as far as I'm concerned, as far as those dwarf ones go. No Grammy is a good Grammy. Hey, don't be like that. Go Grammys are awesome.
Cool.
Huh?
The Samurai Grammys are quite good.
Certainly are. Certainly are indeed. All right. What else are we going to talk about? Just serves me right for being unprepared as per normal.
What do we talk about? How is everything coming on in the plant room?
Well, it's kind of just hit the wall. I've been too busy finishing off out the back with the breeding setup and all that kind of stuff. So I'm nearly there. I've got one side completed. If I get a chance today, I'll be able to get the other side set up. If not, that's definitely tomorrow. So we're getting pretty close to having that done.
Cool.
There's been a very clear lack of attempting to spawn anything because I don't have anywhere for the fry at the moment. Just while we put all these new tanks that have come in, everything's been an absolute mess. Like it's really hard to actually walk, so I need to give everything really good clean. I've got IVC totes hanging around everywhere that need to get out of the way. It's a real mess out the back at the moment. It's probably considered a proper hazard if I'm really being honest, but because it's just me, we'll just roll with that. It's not like I'm running at the moment because I can hardly walk, so that's okay.
That is true.
Yeah, so as soon as I finish with the overflow, once I've cleaned that up, I can move the stand that it's on that opens everything up again, and I'll put all these breeding tanks, breeding containers back to where they are. And that'll be on that stand, so that tidies all that up again, and then away we go. So yeah, I did put my rummy nose down to spawn yesterday or the day before. So I've had 2 pairs that I have been prepping for about 2 or 3 weeks now. Female has been looking nice and plump and ready. They've been sitting in a peat bottomed aquarium, males in one, females in the other. And when I was speaking to someone, can't remember, someone the other day who's going to remain anonymous from now, I'm thinking about what I'm saying. He was saying that you can get the mesh sheets from Spotlight. So off to Spotlight I went, put them in there. It fits spot on perfectly, end to end, side to side on my breeding tanks. I could not have asked for a better fit, type of tight. So in they went, they stayed down, they didn't come up with them in the watering like that, so it was perfect. So fingers crossed, in a couple of days' time, I'll pull them out. A couple of days' time being Saturday, I'll pull the rummy nose out, and hopefully a couple of days after that, we've got a bit of wiggling fry hanging around. So yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, Problem I'm going to have is seeing the fry because the tank is so black. I can't actually see past about 10, 15 mil in it. So that'll be an adventure in itself. So we'll see how we go. With the overflow box, how long do you test to make sure it's okay? Being that I'm in no real rush, I'll probably test it for a couple of weeks. I'm sure most people only test it for a couple of days, but yeah, I'm in no major rush because the rest of the tank's not built. So the stand that it's sitting on can allow me to put the pipes through it and have it dangling. So yeah, I'll just need to block them off. Sounds like what we are going to do. Can pull everything out and put it back in order. Yeah, we need to sort fish again as always, then get back on track. Yeah, kind of pretty similar. Once this round of upgrades, expansion, whatever you want to call it, is done, it'll be time for the real serious planning. So once this one's done, got to drill some tanks for the quarantine for automatic water changes. Got to get the tap put aside onto the other side of the door. Get that done. So once all the quarantine side of it's all done, then we can move on to the breeding side of it. So I roughly estimate I can fit 300 or so aquariums in the direction that I've got it, in the shapes that I've got it. So slowly but surely, maybe build 10 at a time and put them on a stand, and away we go. So problem I've got is I see new fish on the fish list and go, I want to buy it. And so I buy them and I put them in the shop and I see them in the bag and go, man, they're cool. And I keep them at the back and then I run out of room. So that's where we're at the moment. But that's okay.
The pedals have been a fish keeper first.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right.
You've got to enjoy your work at the end of the day.
Yeah. Push the button, man. Yeah, turn the sponge filter up so the flow's above the tank and turn it right down. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those really small little sponges with the directional output. So it's pretty low at the moment. But it's definitely moving along, which is good. But yeah, move the sponge filter up and turn the flow down. Yeah, it's pretty slow at the moment. It's definitely moving, but not too drastic. And the problem will be seeing the fry and seeing the wrigglers. That'll be the real issue. What's hardest when you have a fish room and a full-time job? Yep, I understand. I've got a full-time job and a fish room as well. I find it very difficult. But yeah.
What part is it that's difficult? Separating your passion from your work or coming home?
No, that's pretty easy. I've said it before, and I'll probably say it many a time as well. I find like I've got three kind of facets of what I have to do. I've got to run the fish room, so running aquariums, fish keeping. I've got like the social media side of the business to do, and then I've got like the retailing and online retailing sort of thing. And then obviously there's running the business. So like I find the hardest thing that I find is time to kind of get it all done. If I'm able to do two, I'm always neglecting one. I haven't got enough time to do all three. And I think that's a very common issue. And the reality is I probably need to narrow it down to only focusing on one and either getting someone else to do the other two or cutting back on the other two or something along those lines. But that doesn't seem like much fun. So yeah. So that's where that's at. So I can focus all my energy out the back, looking after fish, water changing, cleaning aquariums, all that kind of stuff. But then there'll be absolutely no time for me to run the business, or I can run the business all day, every day, but there'll be no time for me to look after the fish or, all the social media stuff, which takes up a significant amount of time. I just can't quite balance it. So sometimes when I post something on Facebook and have a whole lot of replies and I don't get to message back for ages, it's not that I'm neglecting anybody or not there. It's just that I'm just physically not on the computer to reply to it sometimes.
Yeah, a common thing.
Yeah. So having a passion for fish keeping and having a fish shop would be hand in hand, not seen as a job. Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of isn't. Like, I don't consider it a job because I find it really easy to get out of bed in the morning and come to work. Like, there's never an issue of got to go to work again type of thing. So in that sense, it doesn't feel like a job. But then, like, when you're actually here doing everything, it very much is a job, and it's it takes up easily 60 or so hours a week for me, maybe a little bit more. So it's definitely a full-time job. So, but like I said, don't struggle to get out of bed in the morning and get it done. So it's always a nice feeling.
Yeah, I
It's
suppose
very
that's
enjoyable.
I mean, it's a long and time-consuming work, but the fact that it's fish keeping, it makes it that bit more easier to motivate yourself.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. Like, we're sitting here, two people on a different side of the world, and everyone in the chat, and we're all talking about fish. So, like, how can you claim that this is a job when, like, we're talking about aquariums and tropical fish and all the fun stuff that we all enjoy? So it's really hard to make that a job, but yeah, so a bit tricky, but it is at the same time. When you come here, the yard work won't be done, but the fish will be thriving, the bills are paid. That's the main thing.
Yep. Just keep taking over.
I'm retired and I feel I have less time than I did when I was working. Is that because the time's structured slightly differently?
Yeah, probably.
I think it's actually been really great for the hobby having social media. Just having the videos is fantastic. I totally agree. I think you could probably make a case for any hobby. Social media has improved for the best part. Resources available, whether it's on any platform, you can find basically anything you want. But sometimes take everything with a grain of salt. But yeah, I for the best part totally agree. I think having social media in the hobby has been fantastic. Learning about different species of fish, different environments is all at a fingertip now. You used to have to find a book or go to fish club meetings or forums or what have you. So I think it's a positive thing as well. Interesting. Most of the people I know in the industry stopped keeping fish. I think I was one of the few who did. It's very interesting. Because one who she'll still keep fish. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, with social media, do get the negatives and the elitists and all that kind of stuff. I totally agree. Got to take the good with the bad, and you got to take the good with the bad with everything. I think there's probably more good than more bad, and
I think the biggest influence that social media has had on this hobby is introduced more people to other areas of the hobby that they probably would never have been exposed to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Before I forget, because I've just remembered, being that this is the last live stream of the year, as with us changing our times from 8 a.m. starts, from 9 a.m. starts as of next week, I'm also going to release all of the previous Finatics Friday coffee dates that we've done with guests as of probably this afternoon or tomorrow. So all of them will be released on the Aquarium Frenzy podcast, which is available on Spotify. And once that's done, from next week onwards, every single Finatics Friday coffee date we do will be turned into a direct podcast that afternoon as well. So if you like to listen on the audio format, we'll be basically live from then onwards, not just on ones we have with guests, but also when it's just me and John talking, rambling for an hour or so. So the whole lot will be available on audio format as well. So that's where that's heading as well. So everything will be caught up and everything will be live as of that afternoon or the day after. So yeah, just while I remember.
Cool. Yeah. I think that's really good, making it all available.
Yeah, so originally we delayed the ones with the guests in case we struggle to get a guest. Then I could always release one every 2 weeks. But it kind of made no sense. People aren't really waiting. People don't care so much sort of scenarios. So we'll just release them on that day and then move on. And if we don't have a guest on, we'll just release them as well. So yeah. Yeah, I check Planet Catfish quite regularly as well. I know you can't see my list of bookmarked websites that are sitting on my my computer, but Planet Catfish is right there, and right beside it is a Scientific Fish Keeper website. If you haven't been to that, definitely check it out. It's well worth having a wee look.
Yeah. I've actually, the guy that started Planet Catfish stays about 5 miles from where I stay.
Oh, nice.
And I've been lucky enough to be up into his fish room, and I've seen all his collection of fish.
Cool.
Which is
So
phenomenal.
the next question is, when is he going to be a guest for us?
Well, I don't think he does it anymore because I have contacted him a couple of times. He seems to have taken his foot off the pedal quite a bit as far as the hobby is concerned. I had done an interview with him a while back on my blog, like a few years ago, which was a written interview. But yeah, maybe next year, maybe in the new year.
I'll leave you with that.
Yeah.
Kyle said, personally, I've enjoyed your and Bay Aquatic short videos more than most other shorts. Heaps of YouTubers put 20 to 30-minute videos, but seeing the quick updates keep us wondering what's next. Cool. So, truth be told, I keep mine short because I hate editing videos. And the editing software I use is really simple. I just stitch them all together, cut off any of the jibber jabber, and then talk over it. So I find it really easy. And even like a 3-minute TikTok video, for example, still takes me about, excluding the recording time, still takes me about half an hour, 40 minutes or so to edit, talk over, put the words on, release and all that kind of stuff. And I just don't have the time for too much more than that. So that's where those are at. Some of the longer ones, like the algae video I did, or the ways to look into different fish food, the one I try to keep everything under 5 minutes. For that very reason, nobody got time to sit for 20 minutes or half an hour to watch a video about fish food. So if I can keep everything under 5 minutes, that's kind of where I'm at with most things. So thank you for that feedback. I appreciate that. Equally, if anyone else has got any feedback on the video or the videos or the content or anything we do, always willing to listen and wiggle around to see what sort of works better for everybody. So just don't ask me to make 20 or 30-minute videos because I'm probably not going to do that. Not intentionally, at least. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. We'll go with this one first.
Okay. When I got back into fish keeping, I was very much gravel ornament and square glass. Now it's just making sure I can encourage the most natural as possible behavior for my fishes. I've gone from thinking helicopter ornament's cool to its tacky rocks and wood is better. I totally agree. Some people would disagree. I would agree. But I still sit with it's your aquarium. You're the one looking at it. If that's what makes you happy, then that's what makes you happy. So if the helicopter ornament makes you happy and makes your fish content and comfortable, then so be it. It's just not something for me. So, yeah, massive believer in you're the one looking at it. You get the most enjoyment out of it. Do it the way that you want to do it. As long as the fish are looked after, then that's the number one priority.
So I was going to bring up this one, and it gave me an idea that we could maybe do a special live at some point next year about all the fish crimes we've all committed.
Could do, yeah. Yeah, we can do that. I'll write that down.
As we're all honest.
Cool. I've got that written down. When I first got into aquariums, I had an AR620T. It had blue lights because I thought the blue lights looked awesome. I think I had white marble chip as the substrate because I thought the whites looked really awesome. It was real chunky, gross stuff, like kind of road sealing stuff. And I thought it looked really good against the blue. I would have had some fake plants or some plastic plants there. I can't quite remember now. And I think I had like one of each tetra sort of scenario going on, and I thought it was fantastic. So that's a good time. Yeah. There's a picture of me somewhere in Facebook world. I think I was holding I might have been playing Edward Swapper Hands. Do you know what that is?
Nope.
we sell it. Do you know what swapper bottles are?
Nope.
Okay, so over here you can buy swapper crates. So 12 big bottles of beer, 745ml bottles.
Right. Okay.
So Edward swapper hands, as you open a bottle, get someone to, you tape it to one hand, tape the other one, and you can't do anything with your hands until you finish the beers.
Ah,
With swapper hands.
good times.
So yeah, it was a good time. So I think there's a photo of me with a bit of a mohawk. May or may not have had a beard at that stage, playing Edward swapper hands in front of my blue light aquarium. I think it's still on Facebook. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I'll track that down later today.
Yeah, that'd be worth seeing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
What else we got? Hello to the new people that have just jumped on in.
I want to learn more about the My Little Pony tank.
I think I vaguely remember your My Little Pony tank. I think, from memory. Yeah, Fish Room Fire, that'll be up there as far as a disaster goes. Maybe not cringy, but probably a disaster.
Yep.
Fish room issues, what have I had there? We had a ridiculously bad ant infestation. And they got into the walls of my fish room at home. So it was in a garage that was outside of the house. And it got so bad that they chewed through the power plugs and shorted it all out. And there's little black scorch marks where they chewed through the wires or got onto the wires and shorted it out. So yeah, I was lucky I didn't have a fish room fire as well, to be totally fair.
Yeah, maybe a sewer scene would be pretty cool. I don't know if you've seen that, Cam, but there was somebody done like a canal, a polluted canal style tank, and it had like shopping trolleys and a motorbike stuck inside it and things. So no, but a sewer would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I've still got my original 1980s or 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sewer playset.
Nice.
In a box out in my garage. So, yeah, that'd be awesome. Bring on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
Easily one of my second favorite kids' cartoons of all time, following behind Transformers. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Again, if it's in your house and you're enjoying it and it's for your kids, then
why not?
Yeah, what's wrong with it? Better be pizza in there. I have ants in the fish room now under the stand. I need to do something about that. You're welcome for the reminder. It's real tricky having bugs and insects and stuff in fish rooms because like you can't spray them or anything like that. In fear of it getting into the aquarium. So
what you need to do is just add some geckos. You just roam in the fish room. Geckos will just eat it up nicely.
Clean it all up and away you go.
Yeah. They love their bugs.
Yeah. Yeah. Does liquid geckos expensive where you are?
It was £50, and that was from a private breeder.
Yeah. I might have my number totally wrong, but I've got a feeling that the leopard geckos are like $650 here or something like that.
Is that expensive?
In my mind, that's where I don't know for sure. So, yeah, times that by 10. So yeah, I thought I was about right there as well, in that kind of $500-$700 mark.
Wow.
Skink terrarium next. I've always toyed around with having a terrarium, having some sort of reptiles of some description. I just don't believe that I could look after them correctly enough to get the best out of them, give them their best life. So far, I haven't. I've kind of got the green light from my wife that I could get one. But I haven't totally got the green light from my wife that I could have one. We had a flatmate for a while that had a blue tongue, and that was really cool. And she seemed pretty content with that, but we didn't do anything with it. It wasn't our pet, so we didn't have to look after it, and it just came out every few days from his bedroom and hung around sort of thing. So Yeah, I wouldn't mind a bearded dragon. I think they're pretty cool, or some leopard geckos. But again, I just don't think I could look after them probably to the extent that they need, knowing how much time I spend here at the shop and not at home and that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
To be fair, I mean, the leopard geckos don't need a lot of care. Once you get the tank right and the humidity and things.
Still take live food, yeah?
Yeah.
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 What are you, live food wise, what are you feeding them?
I've been feeding them a mixture of silkworms, waxworms, Morio worms, which are absolutely rancid, crickets, just the usual bugs, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mealworms.
I don't know if I could be bothered setting up insect cultures at home to do them as well. Ideally, if I had them at work, then it makes life a little bit easier, but I don't know if I could be bothered continuously having to culture that. Like, kind of feels like a vibe of taking work home with me.
Yeah.
Which I already do, and I'm pretty much guilty of, but it's just extra work, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm quite lucky, just 5 minutes for the house. We can buy them in tubs quite easily. So I am going to set up like a little culture or something. I just don't know what yet. But
yeah, to be fair, like on my drive in and out of work every day, like there's a big chain store, like right on the corner that I pull into to get to work, and they carry live bugs because I bought them before for the frogs. So like I can get them easy enough. I just I'd rather culture my own and then do that. Yeah, fire-belly newts are definitely one that has crossed my mind multiple times. Yeah. They are very cool. I would be very potentially interested in doing something with them. They nearly made the cut with the frog tank, but I was speaking to someone who knows quite a lot about them. Basically said they're toxic or poisonous or whatever, so you're likely not to have frogs. So I won't do that then, and then away we went. So, yeah, I quite like my frogs. I'm quite fond of them.
They're still going strong?
Yeah, yep, still loving life. So very happy that although they eat live food, I'm also very happy they'll eat food off tweezers, which is cool as well. My dream all around would be saying I'll never own, while living in New Zealand, a tarantula. I'm alive. I'm the only finest in the world that doesn't have their own tarantula species. Yeah, not for me. You can keep them. They're all yours, buddy. They're all yours.
No, we don't have them either.
Yeah. I like lizards and snakes, but it wouldn't go over the wife and daughters yet. Fair cool. Yeah. We don't have snakes here, which is good. Because our native bird is really average and doesn't fly. So if we had snakes, we wouldn't have native bird. Our main native bird.
Yeah, I was surprised. Sorry?
You're surprised they don't fly?
No. I was just going to say I was surprised when I was allowed to get the gecko.
Oh, yeah. Got it past the boss.
Yep.
No, my frogs are bell frogs, green and golden bell frogs, not the whistling tree frogs. I definitely have considered getting some whistling tree frogs somewhere in the shop as well, just to have a couple of different lots of frogs, because frogs are cool. But at this point, I'd rather set up aquariums as opposed to frog enclosures.
Yeah.
When I was young and had a fish room in the garage, I used to keep native geckos way back when that was legal. And this was legal. Some escaped but hung around breeding. Every year there would be a teeny babies hunting flies on the walls. Cool. Leaves the window. Awesome. That's real cool. Spiders are just misunderstood. They probably are just misunderstood, but it doesn't mean I have to like them.
No. They're horrible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The ones that aren't going to be pointy, stabby, and poisonous, I'm okay with.
Like jumping spiders.
Yeah, they can hang around. Big daddy long legs, they can hang around as much as they want. No dramas there whatsoever.
Yeah.
Ones that are pointy, stingy, stabby, I'm not a big fan of. Luckily, we don't have too many of them down here. Only a couple of varieties, so it's not too bad. Yeah.
I suppose that's one of the good things about staying in a climate like Scotland is we don't have any bad spiders or any bad insects at all.
Yeah. You think that's
like
good?
Bees about the worst we get.
What's that? Bees?
A bee or a wasp.
Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty much the same. We have very little stingy, pointy, sharp things here.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of spiders, whitetails, and redbacks or caterpillars. Wasps, bees, that's kind of about it.
Yeah.
Get the odd insect in the garden that'll give you a wee nip, but nothing too
I mean,
much.
I think we do get some kind of snakes, but nothing mental. An adder is about the worst we've got.
Yeah, definitely anything like that. I guess in an area like where you guys are, because you've got lots of other countries beside you and lots of different climates. Like it's easy enough for any animals to kind of migrate a little bit and then become a bit more acclimatized to where they are. We're
I mean, we're obviously on an island, so it's a bit difficult. They need to be brought over, but Northern Europe's got some more than we have, and I think with the way the climate's going down south of England, they're starting to see things that they've never really seen for a long time.
Yeah, we got some pretty cool weathers. You're right. So hold on, did I just hear that right? Have I been thinking that Scotland's attached to Europe and it's not?
Yeah.
I totally thought Scotland was like part of that landmass and not by itself.
No, Scotland, England, Ireland, and Wales are separate altogether.
Oh, I thought they were all kind of mashed up together. I don't do geography. I know where the North Island is. I know where Australia is, and after that, I'm kind of lost. So, yeah, I always thought they was all joined together. Wow, look at that. Hey, don't hate the player, makes you hate the game. I don't do geography. Geography. We're the same because there's so much ocean around us. There's no, it's such a low. Obviously, more now. There's more boats and planes and all that kind of stuff hanging around. But back when was when we were really landlocked, waterlocked. There was nothing around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, we're lucky that way. It also gives us really crap weather. So.
A pet wolf spider.
Oh, they're horrible things.
Might as well size my hand. Oh, that's not ideal. That doesn't sound very good. Anything named a wolf something or other, I think, might be not something I want to be hanging around with. They're quite large and hairy, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah. The mean-looking things as well.
If spiders sneak up on me, they'll be misunderstood every time. I shouldn't laugh, but I get it. Spent many nights hunting for tree geckos, but only managed to get a glimpse of them. I remember when I was younger, I used to live in Wellington. I used to come down to Nelson for the Christmas break and school holidays and stuff like that. Yeah. And my dad and my uncle and that, we used to go out hunting for, I believe they were probably geckos out what's called the boulder bank. As we just turn over rocks and you'd see the geckos and they'd run around. And there's photos of me in my Batman hat and my Batman undies as like a 6-year-old running around catching geckos with my family. I think they were geckos, nice. Skinks maybe. We went out there, go out maybe every couple of months to the same sort of place with the kids and go for a walk along the area. And there's none there anymore, so they've been totally eradicated or totally disappeared. So it's a bit of a shame because they would have all been native ones as well. Not tree geckos though.
No, I take it your native ones, do they lose their tail as well when they're under threat?
No idea.
Oh.
I don't know enough about them to talk about that.
Right.
You sound so nonchalant about having an adder as all we get.
Well, for the record, I've never seen one. Never, ever, ever seen one.
They're just potentially there.
Yeah, I've heard that they're there, but no doubt if I seen one, I'd be slightly different in the way I spoke about them. So they do lose their tails, Helen. Cool. I'm just waiting on my one losing its tail with the way my daughter handles it, but it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, it's a good point. Sea snakes do make it every now and then to the North Island. That's a good point. I'm a bit surprised that is it the saltwater crocodiles from Australia. I guess maybe the water gets too cold, but I would have thought they might have voyaged across at some point. But yeah, I guess they've got to get to Tasmania first, and they can get into New Zealand. So maybe the water's just not quite warm enough for them. Certainly is a lot of blue bottles washing up at the moment, especially on the Nelson Beach, Tahuna Beach. There's heaps at the moment.
Strange.
Heaps. They come through most years.
You mean the big flies, yeah?
No, blue bottle jellyfish.
Oh, right, okay.
Yep, thank you very much for sending people our way. Much appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have scorpions, John?
We do have some sort of scorpions, yeah. Ultraviolet ones. But again, tiny. And I think it's only really during the warmer weather that we do get some. We got I seen a really cool spider a couple of months ago. It was an orb spider.
Scorpion or spider?
Spider. An orb spin. Big. I'd never seen one before, but I was walking along the path in front of me, and it looked pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this up just because we've never seen a Bigfoot, but we are sure they are around. Cam gets close at times. You almost win the internet today, Maxie. Almost. What else we got? We used to have heaps of weta in the backyard when I lived in Wellington. We were always turning over bark and there'd be giant wetas hanging around.
What are they?
Wetas.
Yeah.
Insects get quite large. Little pincy things. They're kind of creepy, but they're kind of cool. For the best part, they're kind of harmless, but they're quite cool. I don't think I've seen one urbanly in Nelson since I've been here. There's a big conservation park up one of the gullies, riverways sort of thing, and they've got weta boxes and stuff like that. So you've seen them in there. They're kind of cool.
Oh,
in fact, most kind of bush looking. What's that? Sorry.
They are creepy looking things.
Yeah, pretty cool though.
Man. Oh, we definitely don't get anything like that.
When we were kids at Scouts camp, my brother got bit on butt by a brown recluse. Is that a spider or a snake? It sounds horrible.
They're spiders.
Yeah. Spent a lot of time in hospital. Now it's a big tricky chicks. I'm so glad we don't have that kind of thing hanging around here. All kind of Arizona, all sorts of fun stuff in the desert. Hope you got a spare room. Maxie's moving him.
I know.
Blue bottles are fascinating creatures. They're a group of different organisms that come together to create the blue bottle. Wow, I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah, almost like coral. Coral's got those different things, the phytoplankton living inside it. And
used to like praying mantis until one bit me. Nice and hard while I was helping him. Goodbye to the praying mantis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the wetas were a New Zealand only thing. I didn't think they were anywhere else. But yeah. I feel like Betta is a New Zealand only thing. They should have been a national icon. Betta or Weta? Which one are we talking about here? Wetas, not Betta.
Wetas, yeah.
Female wetas bite hard. I used to friend collect them. She was studying them for her master's. Nice. Cool. I like the way how this conversation has gone full circle from fish to New Zealand native insects.
I know.
Didn't think when I turned the live stream on this morning that we were going to be talking at all about native insects. But hey,
No.
here we are.
Yeah, and I've discovered bugs that I never knew even existed.
Yeah, look at that. Cameron would like to know, how are we still going? Is that a different Cameron from earlier, or is it the same one? The Cameron I know wouldn't be on a motorbike. Anyway, how are we still going? Team from team commitment. I guess we're just practicing and warming up for potentially doing 3 hours as of next year. I don't think there's going to be 3 hours between you and me chatting about stuff, but definitely going to have that open.
Yeah, the option will be there.
Also makes it really easy when there's lots of people talking and chatting and we're all getting involved together. So,
yeah,
I appreciate that. So, thank you to everybody that's chit-chatting away. I'm still very disappointed that the Instagram live didn't work.
I know. Well, I'm trying to find it next year.
Yeah, work out how to do it. Oh, John's disappeared. There he is, back again.
There's the wrong button there. 2 seconds.
Yeah. Native cockroaches are very cute, like larger brown slaters. I used to keep them as pets. So they're different to the white streakers, which have got the white edge along the sides. Is that correct? Get him. It was not open. Aaron and I wanted to come in and meet you while we were in Auckland. How dare you have a break? I reckon not only is he having a break, he's not even coming back until like February next year. How do you keep a retail shop going? Not coming back until February. That's just not okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us, Saints Dust. Have a nice evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you might be. We feed the big native cockroaches to the fish. Yeah. Yeah. So, do we want to continue chatting away, or do we want to pull pin at an hour and a half with a chit-chat?
I think it might be people are dropping off anyway, so it may well be time.
There you go. Cameron's apologising to you. I would have messaged it if you go. Should have messaged him and he would have opened up for you. I do think you missed out. It's one of the great 8th wonders of the world. It's not February. Well, it's close enough to February. Like, it's the end of January. Maybe I'm just jealous that I took 1 day off for Christmas. 1 day off for the cricket, 1 day off for Christmas Day. Maybe I'm just jealous. To be fair, I'm also getting another day off in January on the 26th. I'm going to a concert, so we'll see how we go.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can probably the 9th. Well, we can probably call it a day if we want. Thank everybody for joining us. Thank everybody who is new and joined us today, and hopefully have given the old subscribe button a smash, and you'll catch us up next time we do it. We do these live videos every Friday. We'll be getting them at 8 a.m. New Zealand time, which I think was around about 2 in the afternoon, something like that, American time. About 10 o'clock at night for you, John. Is that about right? On the Thursday?
Yeah, that's about right, yeah. It's 9:30 just now.
Yeah. So, yeah, about 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like that for you over in Europe. Yeah. And yes, it is the Foo Fighters concert that I am going to. So, yep, join us next time. Hope you all have a really good New Year. Be safe. Don't do anything silly. Other than that,
I just want to say thanks for everybody that's joined us throughout the whole year. It's been great seeing everybody come back week after week and building up a little community around our live streams.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Sorry, Braxton. Looks like you've just turned up and we're just about to leave. See you later. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.